What's good, TMG fam? It's your boy Ellen. I'm back with another reaction. How y'all feel? Welcome back to the channel. Salute. Listen, man, tonight's horror story session. What was the title I had last time? I can't even remember what I was calling it last time. Tonight's campfire. Something lame I called it. I don't even know no more, man. But anyway, tonight's horror session is gonna be 3 scary true lost phone / laptop horror stories. Now, losing your phone could be a horror story within itself, especially if you got some pictures or some things in there you don't want nobody seeing. You know what I mean? We're all adults here, and we all know some pictures and different things get exchanged sometimes. You don't want nobody else seeing that except for the person you sent it to. I ain't talking about me, but you know, we know how it is out here in these streets. You know what I mean? So we're gonna check this video out, man. And shout out to Mr. Nightmare. Boy, now, if you are new to the channel, you see the subscribe button down there, man. Just don't scroll past it, bro. Hit it, hit the bell next to it so you get your notifications as well. All right, let's get to the video. Is my volume up?
A few months ago, I treated my girlfriend to a vacation in Paris. We stayed at some hotel called Hotel Atmospheres. My job allows me to work remotely from my laptop on my own hours. So at some points during our couple days there, I would sit in the lounge of the hotel by the Wi-Fi area to get my work done. My phone started to ring. It was my girlfriend calling me. As I picked up the phone, I went to the nearby room where the coffee was and poured myself a cup. My girlfriend was calling me from the room, talking about the things we should do that day. When I walked back to the lounge area where I left my laptop, I got a sickly feeling when I realized it wasn't there anymore. I went first thing to the lady at the front desk to ask her if she'd seen anyone leave the lounge area with a laptop. She apologized and said she hadn't seen anyone. I asked her to check the cameras, to which she responded with there not being any cameras in the lounge area, and that she was also not in control of the footage that the cameras caught.
Why is there always an issue or discrepancy when somebody asks you to pull the cameras? I don't think I've ever heard a successful, oh, no problem, we'll pull the cameras, we'll get to the bottom of this. No, it's always, hey man, we're actually not recording right now. Well, then why you got the cameras, fam? That hurts me.
She would have to get in contact with her manager, who was not working that day. She offered I submit a lost or stolen property form. I was absolutely disgusted with the service and planned on having a word with the manager the next day. I had no choice but to go back to our room and angrily vent to my girlfriend. She tried calming me down, saying there was nothing we could do about it, and that it was best we just go out and enjoy the vacation I was paying for. As angry as I was, I had to accept that she had a point. We both turned off notifications on our phones so we wouldn't be distracted, something we usually did on vacation. Then we went out and explored a great amount of the city, did a little bar hopping, then got back to our hotel late at night. It wasn't until we finally crashed into bed that I opened my phone to check for new emails and texts and such, since I couldn't do that on my laptop now. When I was going through my email, I realized every single email I'd received that day was opened. This included emails from work and a couple relatives. I started to panic because I knew how much delicate information I had in not just my email account, but my whole computer, which was signed in when I left it. I basically had all my personal information saved on that computer, including home address, phone numbers, personal pictures, passwords, credit card info, bank account info. I was a...
Dang! We gotta go back to, man, just not putting our life on every single thing. You know what I mean? Some stuff we gotta like spread out, bro. Like, one person shouldn't be able to grab one thing of yours and have your entire life. You know, access to your entire life. It shouldn't be. But a lot of the banks, I will say a lot of the banks nowadays are good about, you know what I mean, fighting and getting your money back.
Fool for leaving it unattended to for even a minute. I immediately changed all the passwords to my emails and other important accounts. That didn't matter for what was about to come, though. After opening my messages app to check my texts since I hadn't been all day, I noticed text from an unknown number. It was a bunch of pictures that were saved on my computer. Bad, personal pictures that I wouldn't ever want anyone to see. Then there were pictures I didn't remember taking. Pictures of a hotel hallway and a hotel door. It was our hotel door. There was also a picture of me standing at the front desk talking to the lady about my missing laptop. It was taken from behind the glass door at the entrance of the hotel. Under all of the pictures was a text saying, "I have all of your info, including your address and your current hotel room. This was sent using an untraceable phone number. Don't bother contacting the police." The rest of the message basically demanded I pay a certain amount of Bitcoin to a specific Bitcoin wallet address, or else. It literally said "or else." I'm not even fabricating this. I didn't know what else to do besides show my girlfriend the messages, as well as the embarrassing pictures. She started to panic more than me, and she honestly just made me even more tense. I left the room to go to the bathroom to think. He was asking for $1,000 worth of Bitcoin, but even if I paid that, I had no reassurance that this person wouldn't share those pictures or keep my laptop or do God knows whatever "or else" meant. I decided I wouldn't pay the ransom. My girlfriend agreed with my decision when I went back to bed. Of course, I was not tired at all anymore, neither was my girlfriend. We sat up, leaning on the headboard of the bed, talking, thinking, and worrying for a couple hours. Then there was a knock at the window of our hotel room.
Somebody was video calling me, threw me off right there, bro. I was so zoned into this.
We both gasped. Well, my girlfriend more so let out a short scream. I turned off the lamp so that whoever was out there couldn't see in. I also shut the shade completely. I didn't bother trying to look out there to see who it was. I assured my girlfriend we were safe, though. She whispered we should call the cops or inform the front desk. I told her we would if the problem persisted. I then told her to go to sleep. Meanwhile, I stood in the middle of the room watching over her, while also looking back at the window. I got a text. I looked at my phone, and it said, "I'm looking into your room right now. I'm not playing games." Then there was another knock at the window. I decided to just grow a pair for a couple seconds and open the shade to see who was out there. I pulled the shade open. I couldn't see who it was, but there was someone standing on the other side of the glass looking in. My girlfriend screamed. I told her shh as I pulled it back shut. We packed our things and went to the front desk, telling the lady about the whole situation and requesting another room on one of the upper level floors. She said she would alert the authorities and gave us a room card to another room on the 3rd floor. For the rest of the night, we slept close together. Well, I didn't sleep. I was awake all night waiting for a knock at the door. Morning came and the manager was in. So she took a look at the footage from the previous night. And of course, some guy with a baseball cap covering 90% of his face went into the lounge as soon as I left it to get coffee, then walked out with my laptop. There was only one camera that actually caught the man in the act. She said she would forward all video footage with that man over to the police. We were out of there. I blocked the number that was texting me. I had to accept defeat, but I didn't want to think about it anymore. There was nothing I could do about where those pictures would end up or some random person having my address. I canceled my credit cards and changed my passwords. There wasn't much else that creep could do. However, what really motivated me to share this story with the internet was the fact that 3 days ago, I got a letter in the mail without a return address. It was addressed to me.
He ain't letting this go, bro. He is after you. He must have found something in them emails or something that said you have money. Bank statement or something that showed you. Because normally if you really ain't got nothing, once you'd have left the country and came back home, they would have left you alone. They got your laptop. They probably would have sold it, made money off of it, and kept it moving to the next person. But the fact that he's still antagonizing you lets me know that he knows you have something worth him wanting.
And it was a short, straight to the point note saying, "I hope you haven't forgotten. I have all of your information still." It was a horrible reminder that someone out there with bad intentions has not only my address, but my pictures, my phone number, and my name. I've been sleeping with one eye open these past few nights. If anything happens, I will update. There was a time a few months ago that my good friend Ashley lost her phone. I'm her best guy friend, so she hit me up on her sister's phone when she realized that whoever had her phone was reading her messages but not responding. I practically reprimanded her for not having a password on her phone. I suggested using Find My
Yeah, who even does that nowadays? Who don't have passwords on their phone? Or fingerprint ID or face scan or something like that. Like these days, everybody has something. Like, catch up now.
iPhone, but she didn't even have that enabled for whatever reason. I met up with her and decided to text her number. I sent a text saying, "Please return my friend's lost phone." Within seconds, it said the person read my text, but they didn't respond.
Oh yeah, that was gonna make him do it. Such a stern text message, make him take it back. Oh yeah, you gonna get him with that one.
So a minute later, I sent a more aggressive follow-up text. I said, "We can see that you're reading our messages. If you don't respond, we will brick the phone, track it, and it will be useless to you. Please return it now." The person read it right away and said, "Good luck." This infuriated me. I tried to respond, but apparently the person turned off the phone. There wasn't anything we could do now. She had Find My iPhone off, so we couldn't even report it as lost. I tried to make her feel better and took her out for dinner. When we got back to her house, a light upstairs was on and the garage door was open. "Are your parents home?" I asked her. "Maybe," she said, "but they weren't supposed to be back from their trip until the next day." We went in through the garage door, and she pressed the button to close it. Then we went from the den to the living room, and she called out for her parents. One of the doors upstairs shut. We could see and hear it. The way her house is arranged allows you to see some of the doors upstairs from the living room. The door wasn't shut forcefully, though. It was shut quietly and softly. Ashley looked at me, and I could see fear in her expression. I told her wait there, I'd go upstairs and check. So I went slowly up the stairs, down the little walkway, got to the door, looked down at Ashley one more time, then opened it. The room was dark now. I looked for the light switch in the room, but couldn't find it. So I said to Ashley, "Where's the light switch?" Then she screamed, "Oh my God." She said that she had her address and the code to the garage saved on her phone. It took me a second to put together what she was implying, when just then, someone grabbed my arm from inside the room and tried pulling me in. I screamed and tugged away from the grip. I started to slam the door over and over on the arm that was pulling at me, eventually getting them to let go. I heard grunting on the other side. I must have done some damage. I told Ashley to run as I came down the stairs. The front door was only a few feet away, so we got out safely. We got into my car and I called the cops right away. We sat in front of the house in my car the whole time, making sure whether to know he left the house or not. The light upstairs turned on, and 5 seconds later, whoever it was walked to the window and just stood there for a while. Couldn't tell what he was looking at, nor could we see any facial features, but I did snap at least 10 pictures to show the police when they were to arrive. Then, the guy just walked away from the window and the light shut off. Minutes later, 2 cop cars with their lights on came speeding down the road and stopped in front of the house. I showed them the pictures before they entered the house, and we waited in my car. The cops were in there a long time. They did a seriously thorough investigation of the house. They came back out to assure us it was safe to go back in. We thought for sure they would be able to track the phone now that it was used as part of a crime, but to our surprise, they said there really wasn't anything they could do without Find My iPhone enabled, or the phone actually being on for that matter. All they said we could and should do was change the code for the garage lock. I had to figure out how to do that for her, but still after that, I let Ashley sleep in my house that night.
I was about to say, bro, you sleeping, you asking for it at that point. Pick me, kill me, pick me, kill me.
When her parents got back the next day, she felt a lot safer. She got a new phone the next day, and we never pursued finding her stolen phone any further. March 8th, 2019, on a Friday night. Me and 5 of my college buddies had a little night out. Not anything crazy, we just got dinner at some nice restaurant, then we hit a dive bar in the same block. We got a few drinks, played darts, and within a...
What's a dive bar? Hold on now. Y'all let me know. What is a dive bar? I pride myself on knowing a little bit about bars, but I've never heard of a dive bar before.
A couple hours we were out. It wasn't until we left the bar that I realized my pockets were feeling kind of light. I checked both of my pockets and realized I didn't have my phone. I told my friends to wait as I ran back inside to look for it. I checked the seats at the bar, at the area by the dartboard. I even asked the bartender. He hadn't seen it though. A couple of my friends came in, and I asked one of them to call my number, but quickly realizing that was kind of pointless in a loud, crowded bar. I asked the bartender to please call my number if my phone were to turn up. Sadly, I knew that was wishful thinking.
Right.
We traced back to the restaurant to check the table we sat at, and I asked the staff if they had any missing phones. None. So it was safe to assume my phone was taken by someone at this point. But I still remained hopeful that maybe the bar or restaurant would call me the next day. That night, when I got home, I started cleaning myself up, getting ready for bed. For some reason, it took me that long to remember I could just use that Find My iPhone feature. I would have to sign into iCloud on my computer to use it. But when I was all signed in and everything, and that little map came up on the screen, I was confused when the phone was showing up as right above my house. For a second, I felt excited, like maybe I had the phone on me the whole time. I checked the pockets of the jeans I was wearing, but it wasn't there. I had no other pockets, and I knew 1000% I had my phone with me at some point in the restaurant. So how could it be at my house? Maybe someone left it at my front door. So I went outside and checked the stoop and the mailbox. It wasn't there either. Either way, it was insanely late and I was exhausted. As long as it said my phone was currently at my house, I figured I'd find it in the morning.
Who else is screaming, "You idiot," right now? Ah!
And figure out what happened. So after coming back inside the house, I did one last loop around the house, turning off all the lights and going upstairs. I sleep with the door open because I live alone. At some point, before finally climbing into bed, I heard a rattle from downstairs. It sounded like the pots and pans rack being banged into. I tiptoed downstairs. I saw that there was a light on down there somewhere. The light was leaking ever so slightly into the living room. I got to the kitchen and no one was in there, but for half a second, I could see the light from my sunroom on. It turned off just as soon as I noticed it. I walked through the kitchen to the glass door that led to the adjacent sunroom. I would have to walk inside of there to turn the light on, and there was no way I was about to do that. So I just went as close to the door as possible and looked inside. I came close to screaming out loud when I could make out two figures standing in the darkness that was my sunroom.
Two people, not just one. You be thinking in your brain, you be psyching yourself out. You be like, all right, if it's one, all right, I'm gonna go for it. We gonna tussle it out. I'm gonna try to stab him, try to get something. I can get. Then when you see that it's two, you be like, oh, fuck. All right, what up now? Now I gotta get to a phone. Well, you know what I'm saying? It changes the whole dynamic.
They were both standing nearly identically the same way. Arms and legs kind of spaced out from their bodies to give an overall wider appearance to their stature. It seemed as though they had their backs to me, as I couldn't see their faces, only blackness, which I assumed was their hair. I ran to grab the kitchen phone to call 911. I reported a break-in, so the operator said there would be police arriving shortly, who would sneak up to the house, find the point of entry for the intruders, and apprehend them. The operator said the police would call me if they needed to, and asked me to hide in a closet and wait there until I heard the police downstairs. Then she told me to hang up and stay as quiet as possible. Waiting in that closet felt like it was taking centuries, mostly because of the tension of waiting in silence and motionlessness, expecting and dreading hearing any kind of noise. And actually, I did. I heard loud clonking footsteps coming from downstairs. They were coming up the stairs. They got louder and closer. Pretty soon they were near to the outside of the bedroom, but I never heard them enter the bedroom. I heard doors opening, doors to every room upstairs, until finally the door to the bedroom I was in opened. I balled up as little as possible in the corner of the closet, tucked under a blanket to hide myself. closet door opened, and I felt my heart in my throat at this point. I did my best not to move, even though I felt my life flashing before my eyes. The door to the closet shut.
Quick thinking.
And I heard footsteps leaving the room.
Because most people you see them in the movie, they be right in the middle of the closet. Like, nah, they don't try to get in a corner behind some clothes or something. No, they stand right in the middle of the closet when the door open. They standing right there. No, fam, you gotta get in the closet and hide inside the closet.
Then I heard 2 pairs of footsteps go downstairs. I felt it was finally safe to move and breathe. After a few minutes of silence, the next sounds I heard were the voices of police officers yelling downstairs. I jumped out from the closet and rushed down to them. They entered through the sunroom, actually, apparently the same way the intruders did. There were a total of 4 police officers in my house. The 2 intruders seemed to be gone, which was no surprise, one of the officers said. Usually the intruders would be out of the house before the cops arrive. So one of them had a notepad in hand and was taking down notes for my description of the whole night. They even took down the specific details of my phone and reported it as a lost item to somehow help with the case. After that, the cops left, but assured me there would be a car patrolling the area all night. The next day, I found my phone left on the kitchen counter. I figured they must have left it to avoid being tracked any further, because it was useless to them. My 2 friends joked around that the 2 intruders were simply trying to return my phone and that I should find them and thank them. Nothing has happened since, but it's hardly been a month, so I'm still kind of uneasy about sleeping in this house.
Kinda uneasy? No, I'd have been all the way uneasy, bro. I can't go to sleep and just leave myself vulnerable for these 2 fools to come back and catch me slipping. Nah, fam. And even if I did, I'm sleeping with something up under the covers with my hand on it. As soon as I hear something, I'm up with, like, you know what I mean? Nah, fam. I couldn't have remained there. That's just me, though. But y'all get at me in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think, man. What do you have in your phone? If it was stolen or lost, would you be worried of the pictures that could get out? Y'all let me know in the comment section, man. It's your boy L. To the next reaction, I'm out. Peace. Y'all stay solid. Hey,